This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the Mayor.
Yo, it's Our Lifestyle Podcast, also known as OLP, coming at you guys with episode 239. You heard that right. And this one will be a little bit unique. Gonna intro solo, as I had mentioned last week, and have a little bit of a condensed episode. Mr. Greg Miller from Custom Car Show Productions will join us to give us some key show updates for Scrapin the Coast 2021, which is the 19th annual event. We can't thank that team enough for the support that they've given us over the years and to be our title sponsor, Custom Car Show Production. So looking forward to you guys hearing the audio with Greg here shortly. Now, the overview of this episode is brought to you by Graphics Mafia. Oftentimes, depending on the type of business that you're in, or let's say you're a club and you need stickers or decals, look no further than Graphics Mafia. That's GRAPHIX, Mafia.com. They're on TikTok. They're on Instagram, Facebook, you name it. But their website, they have free shipping on U.S. orders over $25, and they can do all kinds of things, including the handle names for Instagram and things like that to put on your truck, car, you name it. They also have a lot of other things that they offer that you can just pick up, as stocking stuffers and things like that, like bad boy stickers, you name it. So thanks to Hey Buddy and Ryan at Graphics Mafia, good people. So this one, like I said, is going to be a little shorter. I'll zoom through a few updates. I know we sometimes say that, but literally this week I'll be away from home, and although I'll still be working, I'm just not going to have the normal routine where Mike and I will be able to link up, but we certainly appreciate everyone that continues to rock with us. I want to plug our YouTube channel. We've really put the pedal down with putting out a lot more content there. So you're going to continue to see, we'll make our way through all 269 issues of Mini Truckin Magazine. And some of you might go, well, I know I've seen them all, right? Or whatever. Now, the one thing I would tell you is I will also go through other magazines. So I kind of had a little bit of a break there with some of the Mini Truckins, and I went through the Truck Trends magazine, went through a couple of Truckins, told a few stories. There's the video out there with Ron Perkins from Hammered Weekend where we talk about his builds, but you're going to continue to see that channel evolve. So we get a ton of downloads here, a ton of listens. So thank you to the many fine folks like you guys that are listening right now. But if you can do us a huge favor, go on YouTube, type in Our Lifestyle Podcast, hit that subscribe if you can, and that will help us out. We're trying to get to 1,000, which will allow us to then monetize, which is not easy. And then obviously, putting the pedal down. And really, I've said this before on the channel, we have to thank a lot of people like Jeremy at Built to Cruise, Frank at Custom Life, Brian at, Grinder TV, Jeff at Mini Garage. I know I'm probably forgetting some others, but those are the few that come to mind with all of the awesome content that's out there. Like Matt, Mini Truck Matt, he's got a channel. He's doing his damn thing. So, and again, I'm sure there's some other ones, but again, those are the ones at least right now when I'm recording that come to mind. So thank you to those, good people that have inspired us to kind of say, hey, how can we do additional stuff? And you guys, if you know me, I don't like to stay still for very long at all. So, I'm going to keep chugging along, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to grow that channel on YouTube. Now, the scene updates. If you're at, or if you attended last weekend, TriStar Tradition or Dropped and Destroyed, I really hope that you guys had fun out there. It was cool having Aaron back on last episode to talk a little bit about Dropped and Destroyed 18th annual, which is awesome. I saw a few people on social media that said they were headed up there, so that is fantastic. They're also on Instagram. I think we plugged it whenever he was on, but if you type in drop, DROPT, out.com, so it was supposed to be like dropped.com, so it's actually DROPT, out.com on Instagram. You can kind of see some of the stuff and some of the photos that they were tagged in. So good stuff there. Now, TriStar Tradition, I know Riffy's Hot Rods is partnered up on that one, and I had wanted to have Jeffrey Dillard on, but to be totally honest, I just ran out of time, and it just did not work. So we certainly hope that you guys had a fantastic time. TriStar Tradition is on Instagram. Just type that in. It'll pop up, and you'll see that it was May 29th and 30th, and it was presented by Riffy's Hot Rods and Restorations. They obviously come out to Orange Beach Invasion every year, and I love seeing it. It was in Lewisburg, Tennessee, and if all goes well, then what we'll be able to do is highlight that show a little bit as we get closer to the event next year. So big ups to all those, the kinfolk out there that go to shows and do the damn thing. Now, we pride ourselves on knowing, as much as we can about the truck scene, whether it's past, present, or future, and we bring a lot of stories to you guys. But this one update, this kind of is something I did not know, and, it's an unfortunate thing, but last, kind of tail end of last week, probably I think Friday night, I had a post ready on Instagram that, of course, goes to Facebook, and it was of the guy, Derek Venstras, I think is how you say it, or Venstras, Veenstras. That Mazda that was on the cover of March of '99 Mini Truckin, dude, I've always loved that truck. The color, the tweed, a little bit of sculpture on the door panels, different how it had the whole bed welded shut, and just the colors of that one. And, it was always, I don't know the story behind this, but it was labeled as the $6,500 cover truck, bonus low buck tech tips. Of course, I was a lot younger then, and, when you see that, you're like, oh, man, a cover truck, $6,500, build. And I would look at that and go, man, body dropped, I think 17s, tweed. Obviously, they talked a lot in there about all the block sanding that they did to get the truck straight. But what that sparked, man, just, a lot of engagement. And I appreciate everyone that chimes in. I mean, with our responses, we're up to almost 100 comments. And that's amazing to me. I love sparking a conversation. And, of course, I started it with, regardless of what anyone tells me, ... this is one of the GOATs. And, I mean that because, there's some things, how I don't really engage in the whole hip-hop, like who's the greatest of all time or who's the top 10 list, because at the end of the day, all it is, it's just a discussion, right? Because it's whatever is in your mind, that's the way you see it. Kind of like the old saying, the customer's always right, right? Even if the customer's wrong in their mind, if they're not going to do business with you anymore, maybe you lost their business, whatever. So the customer's always right. That motto to me kind of carries over to these top 10 lists or whatever. But, I meant that with all, respect, to this badass NC truck. I've always loved it. I mean, the color to me just captured everything with it. The engine bay was so clean, had some chrome, and always enjoyed looking at that feature, that cover feature. Of course, Courtney shot it. But when I posted it, the homie Jeff from Devious Customs, which I got to get him on this podcast. I had him on the Lincoln Addict podcast, and Jeff's been doing this stuff a long, long time, and he had chimed in, and he basically said, I missed that dude, R.I.P. And I was like, damn, I didn't realize he had passed. And, a couple other people chimed in, and they kind of said the same thing. I know Tim Berendez, he chimed in, former guest. I remember meeting Derek when I lived in Fresno for a while working at Beltec, and he always talked about building this truck. It had been a few years later that he finally got started and built this awesome Mini. It was a little rough under the skin, but they all are back in those garage build days. Super good guy. Bummer we lost him so early, RIP, DV. So, that's the one thing, that we always preach on this podcast. Life is short, so go out there, have fun, do the things you want to do. And, if you want to go for it like, he did with this build. But, when we find out that someone has passed away or we didn't know, some of these guys, they maybe, weren't in the, the forefront or the limelight as much as maybe some of the other builders. So, we appreciate Jeff sharing that intel with us, but, rest in peace to him. And, really just wanted to kind of mention that truck. I mean, literally, me being a fan of blue, like obviously had the blue S10, had the blue Suburban, have the blue Lincoln, and it's just my favorite color, and just that truck, man, it captured so much for me, especially at that young age back in 99. Seems like forever ago, a lifetime ago. And rest in peace to Derek, you know what I mean? Okay, that's all the scene updates I'm going to cover this week. And got to say, thanks to Garage Gear Clothing for the continued support. You can go to garagegearclothing.com. They have free shipping in the U.S. if you're looking to get your significant other a gift. Look no further than Garage Gear. They're also on TikTok, Facebook, of course, and good old Instagram. Love the YouTube videos that they do, so they give back. A lot of these shows, they're out there with their cameras, and they're taking awesome video, and Lonnie does a fantastic job. Garage Gear Clothing, go show them some love. All right, key show updates. This one, the only one I'm going to really cover because we've got Greg on in a few minutes to talk about Scrapin the Coast, so thanks to him for taking that time. I really wanted to, with it, we're basically now in the month of June, so for the next, give or take 8 weeks, you're going to hear us talk a lot about this show, Relaxin' in the Northwest, The Awakening, okay? They're on Instagram, Relaxin' in the NW. They're, of course, on Facebook. And this event is obviously was impacted last year because of COVID. And it is on and popping this year. It's going to be July 28th through August 1st in Medford, Oregon. Now, they're technically moving the event, as Ron recently shared with us from Hammered Weekend Wear. However, it's not a bad thing because it's going to be a super easy drive from, I think it's the Medford Airport. And if I remember correctly, Ron told me it's only about 45 minutes or so, which is fantastic. Now, I went up there in 2019. It was actually my 2019 pick of the year for the show of the year. And, man, we had a blast. There were so many people. Nick at Night drove all the way from Southern Cali in the tandem axle hardbody, repping the Colorado Custom Wheels. Got a chance to meet him out there among so many other good kinfolk. He drove all the way north, literally in his Mini, to be up there. And there's so many good people. I'm looking forward to Relaxin' in the NW, The Awakening. And this one, they're kind of spun it to The Reawakening. And I like that because they were impacted last year because of COVID and all of the the restrictions and shutdowns and whatnot. But Relaxin' at the NW, I know I've already talked to a couple of homies that are planning to fly up there, as I am. This is one where hopefully I'll just maybe fly up there Thursday evening or afternoon, get there, obviously save a few hours flying out, and then come home Sunday morning. If you're looking to get away, maybe you've been cooped up, maybe you in your state or your area, things have been shut down. Listen, it's the summer. Like I said a few minutes ago, do the shit you want to do. This is a show that I tell you what, you go up there, you get a room, maybe you camp. We'll have more information about it. But get a rental car or whatever, split it with the homies or the chicas, and let's go up there and have a damn good time. I tell you what, the feel of it, the vibe of it was just amazing. The Forbidden Fantasy kinfolk, they really took care of us, or took care of me last year or 2 years ago, with food and just hanging out and just the camaraderie. So, to Brian and Frank and all those good kinfolk up there. A lot of good clubs. There were NR folks there and so many others, including Sitting Pretty and just all of the good folks that are associated with those guys. But Relaxin' in the NW, also known as The Awakening. Looking forward to this one. All right, the key show updates brought to you by the West Coast Influence. If you want a mini truck style documentary on DVD or Blu-ray, look no further than minitruckfilm.com. Go out there, order today. Let Radar know that Our Lifestyle Podcast sent you. Okay, podcast updates. Not a lot to share. Just want to reinforce that you can leave us a rating if you're on an iPhone or iOS device. Just go to the pre-installed podcast app. Tap on Library, select OLP, of course, scroll all the way down and tap the 5 stars. We're over 230 5-star ratings. We appreciate it. You can also write a review if you leave your Instagram or your name. We will gladly give you a shout out in the future. The Out of Air / Pleasure Paradise gear is, as I mentioned last week, anticipated to ship hopefully before Scrapin the Coast. As soon as we get the confirmation from Graphic Disorder that it's shipped to us, we started this recently, we'll blast an email out to everyone and let you know that they're coming to us. And then, obviously they take a few days to get to us. Mike and Shannon bag, tag, and fold and ship. And then boom, you'll, of course, have your tracking number. So thanks to all the support there. Podcast updates brought to you by Joey at Get Decked. I'll tell you time and time again, if you want your vehicle on a skate deck, hit up Joey. He'll take care of you. Many of these shows have gotten on board with either taking their show artwork and putting it onto a deck, or even doing awards like what Joey's done for us, our Minis on the Rise awards. He did something like 10 decks for us, and at different shows throughout the year, including Scrapin the Coast, and then, of course, Slamfest, as we just talked with Jonathan. I didn't reinforce, but at Slamfest, we'll have our Minis on the Rise pick, and it could just be our favorite mini there. It could be one that's, pushing hard to get done. You name it, so it's our choice. But Joey at Get Decked takes care of those for us. He is always on point, and he'll come through like the woo. Big ups to Joey at Get Decked. Hit him up on Facebook for more. Okay, Airhead Nation updates. Really only just have one. This is pretty cool. Adam Tripp from The Spark Show, one of our favorite shows in the country, Sevierville, Tennessee, every August. You have to be sleeping under a rock not to know what The Spark Show is. Love what Adam and Dizzy and all the partners do with that event. We've been up there the last few years. We will not miss it. And Adam Tripp from The Spark Show, he posted late last week, we close on our new forever home today together with Mark and Mom. Very excited for this next step. And it's always cool. I love when, people, show the success and the fruits of the labor, so to speak, on Facebook, and super excited for the homie. Adam Tripp's a good dude. And of course I had to, to post on there. I don't know if he got what I was saying. I said, can I borrow it? And of course he came back and said, I can stay anytime I need to. So I think he got the invite, or he got the joke maybe. But congratulations, Adam Tripp from The Spark Show on that purchase. And the Airhead Nation updates is brought to you by Hammered Weekend Wear. I know we push a lot of different brands, but Hammered Weekend Wear arguably is on the biggest, baddest road trip in mini truck history. He's hitting, I think it's over 30 shows in one run, and you can visit him throughout the country at these different events. You can actually go on Hammered, HAMMERD, weekendwear.com, and you can look at the 2021 Hammered U.S. World Tour, and the next one's going to be June 4th through the 6th, Lowdown at Homestead Hollow, which is the week after Memorial Day weekend. So swing by or just purchase gear online, and he will ship it directly to you. Him and Hank, they will take care of you. They've got a lot of different awesome options, including hats, shorts, accessories, stickers, and of course their famous t-shirts, which I cannot get enough of. I love the tank tops personally. Tell Ron during pre-order that you want a tank top, or order a tank top, and you'll be set to go, man. You got to show the guns, you know what I mean? So thanks to Hammered Weekend Wear. Okay, Throwback Term of the Week. This one, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone last week. I took some time, and I was acknowledging the 30th anniversary of NWA's 91 album, right? It's spelled backwards, but it's Homies for Life, basically, is the edited way to say it. And that one had dropped on May 28th, 91. Of course, Dre had already left. But what was ironic is his production was literally the whole entire album. So I know Yella also was, a co-producer, but basically Dre and Yella produced that one. But Dre had already left. Of course, he was on his, quest to leave after Cube did, and then, Death Row, and I've talked a little bit about that in the past. But I say that because, it'd be easy for me just to go, hey, I'm going to post a throwback, and say, hey, 30 years ago today. 30 is a pretty big milestone. But, of course, my creative juices were going. And I love vintage car stereo stuff. Now, I don't collect it, but I love anything vintage, really. Vintage advertising, vintage magazines. You guys know I'm a fiend. But this was pretty cool. I've done this in the past, not necessarily with the vintage ad, but a vintage Alpine. And with this one, I took 3 of vintage car head units. 2 were tape cassettes. One included DAT, which was digital audio tape. And then the other one was the CD player, that 7800F. And I posted that and said, it's the early 90s, or I said, decisions. It's the early 90s. What's your choice? 30 years ago today, Homies for Life drops, and you got to decide on tape or CD, go compact disc, or keep rocking the cassettes. And man, there was a lot of engagement, over 50 comments with our responses. But 720 era brand, he got the little hashtag, which I put till I caught him in my car trying to steal an Alpine. And of course, he came back with that the boy JD was a friend of mine. So that was pretty cool. Thanks to 720 era brand, for always supporting us. But man, we had a lot of engagement, man. Vulcan Specialties, the homie there, he chimed in, and so many others. Even Ronnie from C10 Talk, man, problems of the 90s, talking about, hey, I only had cassettes because at the time it was, obviously it was all about the money, but he also says, hey, gotta have those scratch CDs. So it's funny when you think back to that era, like a lot of people commented and said, man, CDs used to skip, and I remember that, like when the bass would hit. I mean, I kind of had forgot about when the bass was hitting hard, the CDs would skip, but I remember when the companies were also marketing, hey, this memory CD where it's reading the CD and like if it won't skip because of this technology and stuff. So it's pretty cool. But to see all of the comments, like Nikki's 713. Which is one of the homies now from out west that lives here. He commented, and I saw him at Made of Steel show. He says, that brings back some memories. So pretty cool stuff, and appreciate even Trevor Carlson. He commented, and so many other people did. So appreciate that. I mean, that's what we're all about here, bringing back some good memories, paying homage to the old school. But the throwback term of the week this week is just simply vintage Alpine. Okay, and it's brought to you by our family at Colorado Custom Wheels. If you're in the need for some billet wheels, a billet steering wheel, billet rear view mirror, look no further. I said last week, there's no better shine in the billet arena than Colorado Custom. So thanks so much to Michael and team. And your hard-earned money is going to go to a company that prides itself on great customer service. They will take care of you. Michael, I consider him a friend, but he is a great guy, great family, and those guys hustle hard. ColoradoCustom.com. Okay, what's trending in social media? The only thing I was going to bring up here was, we're getting ready to roll into audio with Greg Miller, but Doug Johnson had an awesome post, and we recently gave him a huge shout-out. Doug Johnson, with his company, they do fantastic, like these acrylic awards, and he does a lot of different stuff. In the early days of the podcast, I would talk, as much as I could about Doug, and it was Aftermath Designs, and I know Mike recently kind of said, I do think that he changed his brand name, but if you look at Aftermath Designs on Instagram, I mean, that's where he still is now back to posting there, and I really love all of the stuff that he's been doing. I mean, he's been doing shows east to west. I know the DeCorvers with Sparks in the Park. They also teamed up with them. But I want to give Doug a huge shout out because he's doing a lot for Greg Miller and some of their shows. And this post was awesome. He says, so effing grateful. Just picked up a new client that is going to fill a hole in my work schedule, and I think it's going to allow me to quit my job. I will, for the first time, be full-time in my own shop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if I want to be. Not sure if it's going to pan out on numbers exactly, but there is a lot of light at the end of this COVID tunnel. Thank you to all the promoters that helped me over the past year of having shows. And he also goes on to say thank you to Greg Miller for putting me to work when I started. Robbie Bryant, you aren't far behind on my list of thank yous. So, really good stuff. There's a lot of choices. I mean, we love Welch's Shop. I love what Aftermath Designs does. And, of course, we talked about Joey at Get Decked. But if you're a show promoter or you're a brand and you want to partner up with these guys, reach out to them, man, because they're people. Doug has crisscrossed this country delivering awards, and he does a great job with what he does. And he's one of my brothers, but at the same time, there's a lot of good people in the scene that you can rely upon when you need to get shit done. And Aftermath Designs is one of those. So big ups to Doug, Mr. Doug Johnson. I think that's it, man. Maybe a record for me, a little less than 30 minutes. We appreciate all the support. This is 239. We're going to come back next week with 240, the big 240, the big 40. But we'll be back. Hopefully you had a safe Memorial Day weekend. Some of you guys maybe still on vacation. Be safe this weekend, ODB. Let's roll into the audio with Greg Miller. Stay on the rise. We got you. Peace. Yo, so as I mentioned, we got Greg Miller on this week. We're talking about Scrapin the Coast, one of the biggest, baddest shows in the country. Dude, Greg, I know you're excited for STC. This is the 19th annual, right?
Yeah, this is the 19th annual, yes.
Dude, so much work goes into it. I remember, last year seeing you around there. There's a lot that goes into a mega event like Scrapin the Coast. What are you most excited about this year, man?
Just the same as always, man. Just ready to see everybody at the show. We got some different things this year. We got the top 10 mini trucks we're doing, and we're getting a lot of feedback from a lot of badass mini trucks that are coming from all over the United States, shooting for the prizes on that. We're also excited that Frank from Red's Hydraulics is coming, and we, last year with coming out of COVID, we had to cut back on a lot of the activities, which was the hydraulic competition and the burnout contest and all that. Mm-hmm. But we're able to pull all those off again this year. So excited to see all that coming back. Mainly just seeing people, man, just finally getting out and seeing a lot of faces who we haven't seen in a while.
Well, dude, it's always an amazing event, and like to your point, even though you guys had to trail some of that stuff off last year because of the COVID restrictions, it still was just an amazing event. And talk to us a little bit about the mini truck awards, right? So, or the cash prizes. Like, how is that going to work? And how many trucks are kind of in the running for that?
Well, what we're doing is we're doing the top 10 mini trucks. Okay.
Okay.
And the top 10 mini trucks are going to get, it's a billet award that we're having Jason Hancock from Billet Accessories Direct, BAD. He's building each person a billet award, and each person will win $100.
Nice.
And then the best of show mini will win the big old surfboard. It's like a 6-foot tall surfboard, and they'll win $500.
Amazing.
Yep. And then, but I know, like I said, since we've started this, we've had a lot of really badass trucks come out and about and register for this, and so we're expecting a lot of badass custom mini trucks this year.
Yeah, and when you think about 1,000 plus the 500 best, that $1,500, but then you have all these awards on it, in addition to it, plus the Jason Feltham, surfboard. It just goes to show like how Scrapin the Coast continues to give back, and it's no easy feat to do that, right? Because there's a lot involved, but even though a lot of us don't go to shows for awards, you start throwing that kind of stuff out there, man. Like you said, you start getting the ears perking up, going, "Huh? Now, how far is Biloxi again?" So I'm excited to see, all these cool, killer trucks that come out because of this.
Right.
So that's good stuff.
Yeah, that's the one thing we have done as we've got bigger and bigger throughout the years. Is we've always said that give back to the scene. We don't skint out on the awards. We spend a lot of money on the awards. Jason Feltham does an awesome job on all those awards. Gooch, he does our Promoter's Choice Awards and several other awards for us. Josh over Welch's Chop Shop does some badass awards for us. Doug Johnson does all of our class awards. So we we really go above and beyond when it comes to the awards. We want to show our appreciation to everybody for coming out.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I mean, some of those boards, I remember when Juan came from California a few years ago, and it was like, man, how are you going to get this stuff home? But it does really show, like, when you go to this event, and for anybody that hasn't made it out, I mean, you got to go this year. It's the weekend before July 4th weekend, so kind of makes it a little bit easier. Some of you guys will have some vacation time you'll potentially be taking, but it's the 25th, 26th, 27th, but of June. When you go to this event and you see like how much it's grown and you see all these vehicles there, to me, Greg, it's really cool to see a show promoter like you that says, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to budget some of these funds to not only do these amazing awards, but we're going to do some cash awards on top of it and things like that. Now, when you think about all the different mix, you got the classics, the full sizes, the lifted trucks, the minis. I mean, there's just an amazing mix. Are you hearing any trends like this year? You hearing about some hot rods that are going to come out? Is Extensive going to be out there again?
Yes, Extensive is going to be out there. I'm not even sure what they're bringing yet. I just got off the phone with them earlier this week, and they are 100% going to come out. And I've seen some of the stuff that they've been building, and I know what they got in the works right now. So I have a pretty good idea, but I just don't want to say right now.
Good. Yeah, because they always bring a cool mix. Like out front of theirs, you'll see the hot rods, you'll see some minis or full size trucks and stuff. So that it's always a good little spot that they got out there. Yep,
they always mix it up pretty good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we always got our hot rod group. They'll come out, and I mean, it's always a wide variety of everything. If there's something you're into, you're going to see it out there.
Oh, yeah. Now, let's say from a showgoer standpoint, right, because a lot of times we're behind the scenes or we're coming in the back end entrance or, where you might even be there on Thursday evening or early Friday. When the showgoers come to the show, is it easy for them to find parking? I know they got the one parking lot, but do they just park and then they walk over to the main entrance? Like, how does some of that work, man?
You talking about for spectators?
Yeah, for spectators.
Yeah. We have little designated spectator parking lot on the west side of the actual show. You'll see they have that, and then they have spectator parking lot in the front to the west side, and then there's also a parking garage, and the parking garage is always filled up, and then there's a parking lot behind the parking garage. So it's definitely plenty of room for spectator parking.
And then when the spectators kind of park, what I've seen in the past, they don't have too long of a walk to get over to the turnstiles to obviously buy their tickets to come through. And then it seems like a lot of them actually kind of filter. I mean, they could go to the right, but, in the last year, a lot of them were kind of coming right inside. They got that awesome AC building, dude. Makes for just a really kind of a great time to cool off and stuff. But a lot of those guys are kind of head right inside, but then, dude, there's so much to see outside. It's really hard to see everything at one of the Scrapin events. Yep.
Yeah. When they park, they're very close to the doors to enter the show, and we usually try to filter them all through to the inside first. They can see they get to walk around in there and see everything that's inside. Then by the time they get their way through there, then they make it out to the outside show area, and they check it out for a while, but once it starts getting around that noon sun, they tend to find their way back inside for a little while. So it's definitely a show that it's kind of hard to see everything.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then when you have people like American Force, right, that get behind this awesome event, they come out every year. You also have that kind of experience that they have created in their own little section too. I think that's pretty awesome. They've got their gear for sale, and then of course they've got plenty of vehicles being demoed there.
Oh yeah, Jason Sandusky and his crew, they create their own little city life. You walk through it, and you get the American Force experience. You check out all their products. You check out their merchandise. You check out all their trucks they have on display, and they make you feel at home. They got their own DJ going on, and so they spruce it up and make it lively for everybody over there.
Oh yeah. So when does pre-registration, because we're give or take, we're about a month out, a little less than a month out to the show. do you guys kind of leave the pre-reg up because it probably helps to make things smooth for day of and that weekend? What can people expect when they go to scrapinthecoast.com?
Yeah, when they go to scrapinthecoast.com, they can register. We'll keep it open all the way till about the last week. It makes it easier for people to get registered and everything. But we do shut it down about a week before, and that's only because we're getting on a crunch time, and it's hard for us to keep track who is registered in the last minute. You know, we would at that point we would rather people just come and register at the show.
Got it. Yeah, and then when they get registered, you know, I know you've had some things in the works in the past, but it seems like you guys really have your judging stuff really kind of down, right? I mean, you got this huge event, but the drive-through judging that you talked a little bit about last year, to me, seems like a win-win for everyone.
Oh yeah, we learned that a long time ago, man. When the show got to a point, you know, a certain size, it was hard for the judges to go out and look for, you know, so-and-so's car. They can't find them. They don't walk that whole place over 10 times over, and they can't find it. And it's easier usually because the person that drove off went and got some lunch somewheres, and you know, the person got tired of waiting on the judge because the judge has so many vehicles to judge. And we figured what better way to do drive-through judging. The judge doesn't have to wait on the person, and the person doesn't have to wait on the judge. You know, just like we don't want our judges out there spending their entire weekend trying to find one or two vehicles because they can't find them. We also don't want the people in the vehicles sitting there waiting on the judges. You know, they want to go enjoy the weekend as well, and they don't want to sit there and wait an entire weekend because they're afraid if they walk off for 5 minutes that they might miss the judge. We figured drive-through judging is the best thing. You come in, you get judged. The judges are sitting in AC instead of walking around out in the heat of the sun. And as soon as that person gets judged, he can go park his car. He can go have all the fun he wants. He can go hang out with his friends. He can go eat. He can go watch the burnout competition. He can go do whatever he wants. Doesn't have to worry about, oh my God, I never got judged. That's the worst thing. That's the one thing I hear at a lot of shows is people saying, "Hey, I've never got judged. I've never got judged. How do I know if I got judged?" Well, you know you got judged with Scrapin' Toasted. You drove through it.
Oh yeah, and that's what Hank from Hammered Weekend Wear likes because you know he wants to get his car judged, but then he wants to just go hit the bars and stuff, you know. So he knows when he goes through the Coliseum, dude, the back end there, he knows he's good to go. But what do you when you think back to all the different years? I know I've asked you this in the past, but you know you think back to 18 shows that you've had. This is going to be the 19th, as you reinforced, and you look and you see how this venue has grown. You've seen how people have came from either, even further, in the massive undertaking that it takes, right, with your friends, families, and your colleagues and stuff. What do you look back most about Scrapin the Coast and just say, like, do you just say, damn, dude, like, it's been hard work to get you there, but what's your mindset when you just see what a conglomerate that it's came into?
Man, it's one of those things that, in the beginning, when it started getting overwhelming, it was one of those things that, I mean, it's so much work to put on an event this size, but it's one of those things that you sit back and, after you've busted your butt and you've done everything you could to put the show on, and it's so stressful, and you say, God, I don't know if I want to do this again next year, but then when you sit there and you're on stage and you see all the people that you brought to the coast and all the people there at your show that had a good time, and it's more of a pride thing that, hey, I built this, These people are here because I had a vision of putting on a show, and, I'm blessed to have a show at that size. There's a lot of car shows that wish they had a show that big, but I just been lucky, and I guess we just did the right thing to attract all the people there.
Well, and I think, too, when you think back, like, with it being 2021, you're talking right after, the rollover from 99 into 2000 and whatnot. So to be able to be plugging away for 20 years, I think that's the thing that people sometimes, at least what I've seen is, there's some people that want to grow a show and there's other people that are okay with having a smaller show. But I think what you've done is reinforce that the hard work does pay off over all the years. And, even through the hurricanes, I know with some of the other shows that you've had as well under your umbrella, you have hurricanes, you have these natural disasters, and you have all of this. So you've been able to, kind of pun intended, weather the storm through a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, I know Hurricane Katrina was a turning point for Scrapin the Coast. When Hurricane Katrina came and it leveled the coast, we all sat back and we didn't realize whether or not we were going to be able to have a show again.
Yep.
We sat back and we were deciding, hey, do we have a show? Because most of the hotels were gone, leveled. So we was wondering if the coast was ready for it. You're talking about the hurricane hit in August, and here we're trying to have a show, in June of the following year, and we just didn't know if the coast was ready.
Oh yeah.
And it wouldn't matter if it was ready or not, because the people, I think what it was, everybody seeing all the devastation on CNN and all that, because it was on CNN for like a year.
Yeah.
Of all the leveled houses and all the slabs and everything, and people just wanted to come down and see that, and that was the year that, oh my God, the show blew up, and we I don't know if we was ready for it, but man, it was a hell of a year, and ever since then, the show's just taken off.
Yeah, you've done a great job with it, and I know on Scrapin, SCRAPIN, thecoast.com, where you can go to pre-register, you even have, like the coastal Mississippi, like gulfcoast.org, and you've had a lot of organizations that have come together over the years to support it. I know Budweiser, I think, for a long time did as well, but, it's got to be a good feeling to be able to bring so much to the community. The other thing that I think is sometimes overlooked from a scene perspective, whether it's the hot rods, I know that they have, the cruise in the coast, and they have these different events and stuff, but with Scrapin the Coast, I mean, the impact, the financial impact to the region with the hotels and the bars and the restaurants, dude, that's just, to me, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scrapin the Coast has a huge impact on the Gulf Coast, and that's the reason why we do get a lot of these major sponsors to back us up. We do have the tourism, and we do have Budweiser and all that. I mean, they support us, and we appreciate their support for everything they do for us.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Now, something that I think, talking about, the impact to the community, but also the impact that you guys have made over the past few years, getting behind a family, someone that might have had kind of a hiccup in life with, health and things like that. Can you talk to us think about what you guys are maybe thinking about doing this year, or do you have anyone picked out?
Yes, we have one of our judges. His name's Brad Malagary. And Brad, this year, went to go get his COVID vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson shot. He felt like the only reason why he went and got that vaccine was because a friend of his died of COVID.
Wow.
So he felt obligated that he needed to go get the vaccine. And when he went and got the vaccine, in less than an hour, he had a stroke, and his blood clogged up on him, and he has a very, very long road ahead of him. He is out of work. I don't think he's able to talk yet.
Wow.
He's going back and forth to therapy, and he has, like I said, he has a very long road. So we are raising money this year to help him and his family.
Amazing, dude. And I know that, the impact that you made to a lot of the other families has been huge. And there's a lot of folks that will give, and there's things that you guys give and be able to give back. But, what's the feeling like you guys have oftentimes, every year that I can remember? But, what's the feeling that you have whenever you and your team can kind of give back to someone that's of need?
That's the best feeling there is, man. Honestly, I mean, it's like when you're growing up and your kids, when you're a kid, your parents always tell you it's better to give than to receive. And, when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, right, whatever.
Right.
But it really is. It really is good to know you can help somebody all while doing something you love. So we all have fun doing these car shows, and if we can raise money to help somebody and make their life a little easier, take a little stress off of them, we're going to do it.
Hells yeah. Well, here's a couple more things I wanted to hit on. The thing, years ago, I don't know if I was officially the guy that said kind of the mini SEMA, right? Because you've heard that for a long time, but that's always been in my mind, right? This awesome experience. And we talked about, like, with American Force, they're fantastic. But the other thing that I like is, we talked about Extensive. They've got their rig, they've got their clothing, they've got all their stuff they're doing. But then you have awesome, arguably two of the biggest, baddest names in the scene with Accuair, and then you have someone like Vayer, right, that continues to support the scene. Can we expect, I've seen a couple posts, but can we expect to see those brands back out at Scrapin the Coast here in about a month?
Yes, Accuair is coming. They'll be set up there at the show. Vayer still is not, they're not ready to travel with the whole COVID thing. They're still going to hang back, but they have taken very good care of us and supplied us with everything that we need. And but they said that they'll definitely be back next year.
Oh, good. Yeah, and we love Vayer. They do a lot, and I know that you partnered with them to give away compressors and things like that. So, we love seeing what you do there. But, to hear from Ryan and the team at Accuair and knowing that they're getting back out there, we saw them at Lone Star. We obviously were out there with you. And to see them supporting these big events like Lone Star and Scrapin the Coast, I think is very important. I talked to Ryan the other day. He's going to be anxious here soon to come back on OLP and talk about some of the new products. But it's got to be a good feeling to see, like, man, they're ramping up, and they have their vendors nationwide are starting to restock stuff. So I think that's an important thing for our scene.
Yeah, I've always said, man, that their product, I think a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon whenever they filed bankruptcy and all, but their product and their customer service has always been top notch.
Mm-hmm.
And when they filed bankruptcy, a lot of people just, started hating on them, and they might have had a reason for it. I don't know, but they've always taken good care of me. Anytime I've ever had a problem, they've always been right there, perfect, top notch service, walked me through something, and never had an issue. Great company, hands down. I think I got four of their kits in there right now that's waiting to go on vehicles. So I'm a firm believer in their product.
Oh yeah, and they're a good brand, and that's something that I like to see in the scene is these companies that are successful, that have a lot of enthusiasts that are out there supporting their products, to have to see them come out at shows. I remember a few years ago, it might have been Scrapin 2018, 2019 when Vayer was there, and I saw like show promoters that have had some pretty successful shows over there going, hey, Vayer, can you come to our show? And they're like, we don't go to a lot of shows and things like that. So to be able to go out to an event and pay a minimal fee to get in to spectate, and then have that experience. A lot of these vendors, they're selling parts, as so you can get out there, you get some good deals. You're saving on shipping in some cases. And that's part of that experience that I see at Scrapin the Coast that just brings it all together, man. Oh, yeah.
Now, I will say that even though Vayer themselves, the company themselves, aren't coming out, they have Jake McKitty with Fat Fabs is there representing them. He's got all their products and all that just to sell to the people. So if anybody's looking for compressors or what have you, and if you can't win some at our show that weekend, Jake McKitty's going to have a whole bunch of them on hand for you to purchase if you need them.
Hell yeah. And that's, with Jake and Fat Fabs coming out, they always got a good spot there indoors, but it's always good to see their booth because, man, no matter what people say, they put out some damn trucks, don't they, man?
Oh, yeah. Now, Jake and them, they're on top of always being the first to do the newest stuff. I don't know how it is. I think they jump on some vehicles that's not even been brought to the public yet. I think Jake got insides with Ford and Chevy and everything else with executives to send him a truck or two before he even goes out to the market. Because as soon as the truck hits the dealership, that dude's got his hands on them, and he's already got them bagged and full framed and everything else.
Yeah, and to me, everyone looks at it a little different. I mean, who would have thought 20 years ago, there was some stuff like out in California. I know it was like, one of the dealerships that was kind of like adding some accessories and kind of customizing, static dropping. But, we're almost in a day and age where you can be like, you can call them, you can say, hey, I want a 2022 Escalade or this or that or whatever it is, and they'll just go pick it up. They go, all right, you pay for it, we'll pick it up. Here's how much you owe us, and then bam, you can you'll have it. So, but that's one of those vendors that comes out to Scrapin the Coast, and it's just, man, such an awesome event. I always like looking at some of the drone footage from there. There's an old drone photo that kind of is on your Facebook that, or on the website rather, and you just see how many people are there, and you see the Coliseum, and it just reinforces, from indoors to outdoors, there's really something for everyone.
Oh yeah, like I said, Scrapin Coast has, no matter what you're into, there's something going to be there for you.
Oh, yeah. And I know our friends, Buddy and Ryan, over at Graphics Mafia. We love those dudes. They're good people. They're going to be out there. Like, they went there last year, and Buddy was like, damn, it's too busy. I can't even sit down, man. And I was like, yeah, that's a good thing. And he's like, yeah, it is. So, it reinforces that whether you're slinging stickers, maybe some T-shirts like Ron and Hammer Weekend Wear, or your Fat Fabs or Extensives, and you're out there slinging what they got, you could definitely find it. And then, obviously, they're there to sell it. But real quick, when people, a lot of times when we roll into town, is there any one restaurant or any, couple things that you would tell someone like, hey, if you're coming to Biloxi and you got an extra day or so, or you want to go to eat, is there anything that you would recommend to them?
If you're in town and you don't really want to drive far off, I would highly recommend Captain Al's. It's a surf and turf restaurant. Some friends of mine own the place, and it's probably the best deal you'll get. $20, you get a ribeye and shrimp and baked potato and a salad, and that's a pretty good place. Now, if you're looking for a restaurant that you will forever talk about, I would go to Jordan River Steamer. It's probably about 35 miles away from the Coliseum, but it's definitely a restaurant that you will never forget. They got the best crab legs. Just hands down the best.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, and I like to tell people that because, with it obviously being the weekend before the traditional American 4th of July weekend, there could be some people that are coming in town. I know when I was at, I forget what show it was earlier this year, I had asked you, I was like, man, what's a good restaurant? And, you were like, yo, man, Jay, you got to go here. And sure enough, we went there, and it was awesome. So, that was cool. But, yeah, there's always good. I know always good stuff. Like at Orange Beach Invasion, that was one where you had recommended some places, and it was like, boom, it was fire. Like the Hangout's a fun place and things like that there in OBI. But before, I wanted to ask you briefly about Bayou Showdown, but I did want to check with you. Man, from Scrapin the Coast perspective, I mean, we've covered a lot. Is there anything else that you wanted to maybe cover that people should know about the show?
Just get there early Friday, get registered. I think the Coliseum might be allowing us to let more people on the grounds on Friday, just to ease up on the traffic for the next day. So the sooner you can get registered and get judged and get that all out of your way, the better off you are. Save yourself a headache. Just come out and have a good time.
Hell yeah, it's going to be an amazing event. Scrapin the Coast on Facebook, Instagram Scrapin the Coast Show, but scrapinthecoast.com, you can pre-register, you can find out more information. There's obviously, as Greg mentioned, we were talking about, if you're a mini trucker, you've got an opportunity to win one of these badass billet awards from Billet Accessory Direct, also known as BAD. You also have the opportunity to win cash awards. There's the Feltham Awards. You talked about some of the others as well, and it's just top notch. But I wanted to ask you about Bayou Showdown. Bayou Showdown, we're about, give or take, 5.5, 6 months away-ish. Anything you want to share there from a Bayou Showdown perspective, Slidell, Louisiana?
Sean and I have been working on that, and, last year's show, the numbers jumped drastically. We was not expecting a show that big last year, but we had like over 800 entries, and from the feedback that we're getting this year, I'm thinking we're going to have a much bigger show this year. Same as always on that show too. I mean, you want to get there as early as you can, because last year that line was miles and miles long, but we got them in there as fast as we possibly could, and that's always that's always a good show too, because it's at the end of the year, it's in the fall, and nice cool weather, and it's more of a laid back show. Hang out, have a good time, and eat you some good Cajun food while you're down there, and have a good time.
Oh yeah, and that's always the weekend in my mind. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving, typically.
Yep.
So that's what people should expect this year with Bayou Showdown in Slidell, Louisiana, right?
Yep, November 20th and 21st.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a killer show. I know there's a good mix of lowriders, mini trucks, full-size trucks, and I mean they come from all over for that one. So we're excited to be out there and to represent. But man, Greg, dude, I know to your awesome family and your daughter. I know she's got a lot going on. She's got something big coming up later this year, I heard.
Yeah, she's getting married.
Oh boy, man! I heard you got a shotgun already, ready for it.
No, he's a good kid, man.
Oh, I know.
We like him. We like him, and now shotgun might be for her because she's been going way over her budget on her wedding.
Right,
and,
yeah. You could scare him a little bit with a shotgun. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. But yeah, she her and her mama has been having fun spending my money. So, but she's my only daughter, so I guess she'll get what she wants.
Well, make sure she doesn't listen to that because she's gonna be like, "Hey, I want that new 2022." No, but that's good.
She already knows.
Yeah, well, then you could say, "Hey, well, that you got a new husband, so he can pony it."
Yeah. That don't seem to work. I told her that from the get go that you're not his responsibility, and that still don't look. It ain't jiving too well.
Oh yeah. No, that's cool, man. Well, congratulations. I know you got just a lot going on this year, but you're always laser focused with the shows, including Scrapin the Coast, and we're certainly excited about it. And I did want to mention too to everyone, we'll be doing a live stream with Street Trucks. So StreetTrucksMag.com. You can find more information out about some of these live streams, including Scrapin the Coast, one of the biggest, baddest shows in the country. We'll be out there. We'll be doing live streaming, a lot of coverage on Friday, Saturday. Not sure if it's going to air real time or if they'll do it Saturday afternoon or Sunday, but keep it locked to Street Trucks, Facebook, and YouTube channels, and we'll be bringing more. But Greg, dude, it's always a pleasure, my friend, and we're certainly excited to keep the pedal stomped as we get up to Biloxi in about a month.
Always good talking to you, buddy, and we appreciate everything you do for us.
You got it. It's Scrapin the Coast hashtag. Follow that hashtag on Instagram today. That way you won't miss a post from OLP and all of the other photographers out there. ODB, you guys have a great weekend. We out you.